I would imagine that if you're here watching this and you're listening to me, that you are somebody who wants to create spaces where people feel safe and welcome to express themselves fully and freely and be themselves. And one of the ways that you can support those people that might be in the LGBTQ plus community who aren't sure whether this is a place for them, whether they're going to feel safe, whether they're going to feel welcomed, is to ensure that your Instagram account, your Facebook groups are using inclusive language, that you are conscious of this, that you are aware of it. And what do I mean by inclusive language? Well, I've got sort of 3 things that I think really are great starting points when you're thinking about this. And one is avoid heteronormative language. And by that I mean really try and get out of the habit, because I know it's habit, I know it's societal conditioning, and I know it's things that, we've been saying for a long time, some of us. But I'm talking about things like ladies, gents, men, women, guys. How many people say guys? Hi guys, hi guys. I'm sure I've done it, as well. And it's not inclusive. For some people, that will really make them feel like they're not welcome. It's not a space for them. So although it feels like something, well, why would, surely people just get that I mean everybody? No, it just is reinforcing that lack of awareness that you might, have. And I think, hey Rachel, yeah, I think so many people do have to, be checking themselves. And I'm going to come on to that in a minute. We know that this is societal conditioning. And I think raising our own individual awareness around the language that we're using and caring enough to care, caring enough to kind of check ourselves and knowing that we're not always going to remember, we're not always going to, be in that sort of headspace sometimes where we will kind of go, actually I need to be using more inclusive language. And by more inclusive language, quite simply, rather than the ladies, gents, men, women, guys stuff, it's use they, them, use folks, friends, team, hey everybody, how you doing? Rather than, hello ladies, goodbye ladies, making a huge assumption that those people in your audience or wherever you're talking to them, whether it's in an Instagram post or on a live or in a Facebook group, identify as women. And, moving away from that sort of binary thinking and binary acting, really. So the first thing is really think about your language, become aware, sort of really become consciously aware of what you're saying and how unconscious that is. And also, I think, find it really interesting to listen and observe other people as well. So I've recently joined Clubhouse, and there's all day long conversations in there. And so 90%, if not more, is so heteronormative. And people just doing it without even thinking about it. No one's sharing their pronouns unless they're in a queer specific space. So it's one of the things I'm really passionate about changing, right? So the first thing is the heteronormative language. The second thing is really start trying to think and be aware of not assuming gender or sexuality, sexual orientation. Really try not to assume that either, because you don't know. I think one of the things I find quite fascinating is how by what someone looks like, how they present, how they talk, the sort of voice they have, we assume their gender and we assume their sexuality. It's just, it's just not good. And the third thing is sharing pronouns. So when you introduce yourself, when you meet somebody new, Share your name and share your pronouns, and invite them to do the same, you know, and then you both know where you're at with each other. And until you know, use they them pronouns. So they're my sort of 3 top tips. Who do you need to be? Well, open to making mistakes, open to learning, unlearning so much societal conditioning to unlearn in this space. And that's hard, you know, and we all get it, you know, we all get it. But like I said earlier, you know, it's the desire to want to be inclusive, the desire to want to help people feel welcome and heard and seen and visible and represented in your spaces. That goes for everything. That, you know, that intention is so much more important than maybe the odd mistake you're going to make. Just sort of, you know, it's like developing that antenna around it for you personally, I think. And practice. Yeah, practice being a little bit uncomfortable. And I've seen it happening. And it's so, for me, as a gay woman in the LGBTQ plus community, when I see allies, my allies, sharing their pronouns, it means so much. It means so much. Such a small thing. It's making me emotional because it means so fucking much, right? So, I'm going to go.